Hey, what's up guys, it's Graphic Phoenix back with another video today, and today we're talking about Turbo! No, we're not, I'm just kidding. So today is May 11th, the, of course, 11th day of May Madness, and today we're actually talking about blue tongue skinks, specifically Sky. I'm using my DSLR camera, so chances are the audio will be a little bit weird. I was hoping that it would reduce the lines on the screen, but I can still see them, so sorry about that, guys, but that's just how it's going to have to happen. I'm basically going to be talking about basic care in this video as Sky just kind of rests in his food dish because that's kind of what he does. So blue tongue skinks, or Indonesian blue tongue skinks, are Tytula gigas, and the northern Australian versions are Tytula skinkoides. This is the Indonesian version, while the other is the Australian subspecies. So these guys typically attain a length of 18 to 22 inches. So these guys are diurnal, so they should have a light cycle of 12 hours on, 12 hours off. As you can see now, he's demonstrating his blue tongue. Kind of. And those beautiful orange red eyes. The minimum cage size for these guys would be 36 by 18, and it doesn't really matter how tall so long as you have a basking lamp and stuff in there. These guys are terrestrial, so they do like to have more surface area. The cage that he is being kept in is 4 foot by 2 foot by 1 foot, so it's 4 feet long, 2 feet deep, and 1 foot tall. Now some of you guys might be thinking, oh, but when I get my cute little baby, he's gonna be so small. I can't keep him in a cage this size. And while that is true, you might not want to have the largest cage available. Honestly, I would just go ahead and buy like a 75-gallon tank. That's what I keep these guys in, or at minimum a 40-gallon breeder. And basically just section it off. Whether you go and get like egg crate, or you go and get H-core plastic or corrugated plastic, that will basically keep these guys in a smaller area while they grow up. And instead of having to buy a whole new cage, you can essentially just keep them in the same cage, not have to buy a new cage, and just move the divider as they get bigger. So the key with babies, start large. That's the thing. Like, these guys are very hardy, but you want to start with a large tank because they do grow so fast. Now, temperatures for these guys. So you can kind of see right up there, there's like a little black area there. Sorry, buddy. There's a little black there, and that is essentially a heat pad that is controlled by a temperature probe, and that is the hotspot. His hotspot stays around 90 to 100 degrees. That's where you want it. Typically his is around 95, 97, something like that. And then on the cool end over there stays around 70 to 80, typically about 73 to 76. That's where the temperatures rest. And of course his water bowl is on the other side there, where it is not going to be getting evaporated super fast by the heat panel. So as you can see there, I use a dark tile for his basking spot. You can use slate and other different rocks, but be careful because as you break them, they can become very sharp and not good for your reptile. Whether it's a blue tongue, a beardy, anything, you don't really want to use it just because in case it breaks, they can become very sharp. As for substrate, you can see in his cage, I just have jungle mix. It's cheap, it's easy, it's nice, it looks good. You can basically use anything. However, the things you want to stay away from are cedar and sand. The cedar fumes can just be toxic to your reptile, and sand can cause impaction, especially because these guys don't really live in any areas like that. You just want to avoid sand. Diet is obviously a big part of these guys. They do grow a lot. They are omnivorous, and they do like to have a varied diet. There are some breeders out there that would pretty much feed these guys dog food and grub pie. While I do feed grub pie and I do feed the occasional like crested gecko protein mix, which is actually what Sky's eating right now, besides that, I don't feed anything like dog food or anything like that. If you must resort to dog food, go for a high quality wet dog food. Typically they are more whole meats and more vegetables mixed in, whereas low quality wet or dry is basically just cardboard. So filled with tons of filler and just not good for your reptile. Now before I go into the ins and outs of their diet, I'm going to make a heavy emphasis on what you should not feed them, and that is avocado, rhubarb, mushrooms, and seafood. You do not want to feed any 4 of those items no matter what you do. Avocado and rhubarb can be extremely toxic to these guys and can likely kill them. Where mushroom and seafood, I don't know exactly how bad it is for them. I would just recommend staying away from it because that's what you see on a lot of common websites to stay away from. So now that we've covered what not to feed, we'll go into what you can feed. So their diet should be a 50-40-10 mix. Now, the 50 is vegetables and greens, typically mostly greens. 40 is proteins or meats. And the 10 is fruits. Example of greens that these guys tend to like and are very good for them are collard greens, kale, mustard greens, beet greens, and bok choy. Those are all things that these guys can eat on a very, very regular basis, pretty much every feeding. The 10% fruits that you're going to want to be adding is, most fruits are totally fine for these guys. You don't really want to do citrus so much, but figs, papaya, mango, grapes, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, melons, and kiwi are all very good for them, and they will typically enjoy those assorted fruits. Now, the meat is kind of a debated topic with the whole protein thing. You can feed wet dog food, but I already mentioned that. What I feed mine is ground lean beef, but you want to have cooked ground lean beef, chicken, turkey. Pretty much any 3 of those are totally fine for them. You can also feed them eggs every once in a while. You can feed them hard-boiled eggs. That's what I feed him. You can do worms and insects. As you saw, he tried to catch a cricket, but I mean, he's not exactly the most coordinated blue tongue, so he wasn't able to catch it. Of course, you can also feed the occasional mouse. Next time I'm at work, I'll probably bring home a couple mice for him to have. He goes absolutely bonkers, so I'm sure you guys would like that for a feeding video in the coming future. That pretty much wraps up the feeding section. You want to feed these guys anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, or if they're getting pretty chunky, you can also feed them just once a week. That's what you want to switch to, is a larger meal once a week. And they do really well. That is honestly how I feed him, and he's a very good weight. He's healthy, he's happy. I also do give him typically like a side of crested gecko diet, or like with protein in there, and he chomps that down, which is what you can see in that red bowl there. So the last thing I want to mention before wrapping up the video is sexing. I know that Sky is a male because I have seen him expose himself. So that is like the surefire way of doing it. There are also a couple other ways of seeing it. The head is a little bit more robust. The jowls are a little more pronounced. And I'm not going to go in there right now because he's chilling. But in some of the other videos, and probably later on in May Madness, I'll take him out and I'll show you his belly. But it's like a bright orange color. You might be able to see hints of orange sneaking through his face there, like under his chin and stuff. But I don't think you really can. It's mostly gray. So that's really the way of sexing these guys. Honestly, if you guys are just keeping these for a pet, and I do strongly recommend these, I would just not worry about it. I mean, the real surefire way of doing it is introducing 2. If they duke it out, then chances are they're 2 males. If they shag, then you have a male and a female. That's really the only way of kind of figuring it out, but I don't recommend doing that. Don't think that I want any blue tongue skink fighting pens going on. That's not what I'm going for. So guys, that kind of wraps up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. One of you guys mentioned to me that, hey, maybe I should do some just like quick care videos on everything in the room for May Madness. And I think I'm going to do that. I will be making more in-depth care videos, like on the Hermit's Tortoise and probably the monitors after May Madness, but during May Madness, I think I'm just going to do some quick basic care videos for you guys to enjoy. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. I certainly had some fun making this video. Sky has been a perfect model, just chilling there the whole time. As you can see, these guys are very tame, great for handling, and I strongly recommend them. So if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. If you want to see more of these kind of videos in May Madness, subscribe to my channel. I'm making a video every day in May. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about blue tongue care or really anything, drop them in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Graphic Phoenix, out of here. Look at that slacker. Look at him. Sleeping on the job.